Mm. Mm. Hello, beautiful beings. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to See Blissfully Lit podcast. I'm your host, Sammy. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here today. And I am joined by a very spectacular guest, Fabio Lasala. Fabio, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Sammy. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. So happy.
Thank you. So before we dive in, I'd love for you to just share with our listeners just a little bit about yourself and your background, where you are now.
hmm Oh, wonderful, fantastic. So my background, now apart from that, you might notice a lot of music, vinyls, and records and stuff like that. Yeah. But my life background is quite interesting, I guess. I mean, they told me, Ferguson, you have so many things in your life so far, so you should write a book. I said, really? You really think so? I never really find myself so interesting as a person. Uh, but because, I've always been a bit like lacking a bit of self-confidence in my life. I was a really shy guy, always wanted to be hidden in a corner, nobody to see me. But then I had to work out on that because actually, yeah, I discovered that, yeah, we are all worth. We have our worth. So we deserve to be seen. And so here we go. I'm just like putting myself out and living life properly and experiencing magic and what really life can give to everyone. That's the point. So I'm basically, my body is from Italy, even though my soul belongs to the world because I would like always to travel all around the world, meet different people, different cultures. I have friends from every part of the world, and also in terms of relationships, I kind of having like different colors, and I always love that. I always love that. I mean, the world is such a beautiful place to discover, and so yeah, I had some experience about that. So currently, I'm a professional pranic healer right now. And I have found that from my project, Pranic Consciousness, which basically wants to bring the teachings of Master Choco Tsui in a professional way, in the best professional framework possible. And but my experience in the I worked, I'm an engineer as a studies. Always been like a scientific brain with a creative romantic heart in the same body. So always been fascinated by science and all this kind of stuffs, but also a lot of passion for arts, performing, photography, or like visual arts and music and beauty, harmony, whatsoever. Always been like attracted to it, and so I've worked as an engineer for corporates, but I've started doing pranic healing since 2006. And the funny is that since I was a child, I've always been interested in energy and what was God, because I've been raised Catholic and very intensively for the first 10 years of my life. At the point that I was really questioning everything. I mean, I started to question everything, to say, okay, yes, I understand now. What's really God? What's life? What's afterlife? All these kind of questions. I mean, as a kid, I mean, I always been like swimming like a salmon against the the waterfalls, against the stream, and that was always my one of my uh, qualities or characteristics, um, like always questioning over everything. At the point, I think I've challenged my parents, my friends, my teachers, and well, every person I've been with. So, I was also an hyperactive child. So I guess I gave such a hard time to my parents, but I never put them into trouble, luckily. And I always loved them, so I never wanted really that they could have a trouble because of me. But yes, I was always running everywhere, and I wanted to discover the world, basically. The world was my fun fair, you know.
And look at you now, you've traveled.
Yes, exactly. That's the good point of it. It's really when you're able to discover about humanity, that always something that was fascinating me. How people are. People are something beautiful. They have some jewels inside them, and the more you get in touch with them, you really discover the beauty of God actually and nature. So that's why I've chosen to do this in my life. I quit corporates. At the point I was not really feeling I was really down for that. And but I'm so grateful because they gave me so many tools and instruments to shape my mental body and to really use a lot of those tools for what we are doing now. And but I always been interested in something more. I guess you know what that means, right, Sammy? You always wanted to see, okay, but there is something more in life. There is something that thing apart from your roles, apart from, your yeah, you have your roles in your life as a daughter, as you might. I don't have kids. I don't think you either. But we have different roles in our lives, and you're a friend, you're a lover, you're a student, and but I always wanted to see what's behind everything, and so I've always been interested in energy at the end of the story. So I'm not surprised I'm here right now. And so at the point when I was in my 20s, I discovered pranic healing. Hmm? I was actually 21 if I remember well. Um, but the funny is that they asked me, Fabio, you want to really know what pranic healing is? You go in a center, you receive some healing, so you have an idea what is that, and I was finding it great. But somehow, when they asked me, Dan, would you be willing to do a class of pranic healing? I said no. I said no at the first instance. And funny is that after that, my life started to slap me left and right. Then, okay, after 3 years, yes, pranic healing. I'm in. Let me do a class of pranic healing. I just follow. Thank you. I couldn't ignore anymore. But yes, this is pretty much my story and like a big
So,
overview about my
so
story.
when you first found pranic healing, what drew you in? What kept you there?
Like finding what I was looking for. Like finding that thing that can explain, no, uh, that can give an answer to a lot of your questions. And yes, because since I was a kid, I started to read a lot of books about energy, meditation, life after death, and all this kind of stuff. And thanks to my mom, because she was really the sensible person in the house, and she transferred this interest, this passion over me. And And as many books as I was reading, but I wasn't having really much things in my hands to handle things. I mean, life can really challenge you. And apart from the concept of inner peace and calmness and all these perception about energy, I wasn't really able to do anything properly. And that was a kind of frustration, that was my struggle. Hmm? I still remember the first time that my mom took me to there was a public meditation in my hometown. And I was 17. I went with her and she told me about this meditation that was doing every year. You know what name was? It was Wesak meditation.
Oh.
Was my first Wesak meditation ever, without even understanding properly what Wesak is. I've been there surrounded by like a few thousands of people. It was such a great event in Turin. And I've done that meditation for the first time, and I wasn't really able to feel anything. I just say, okay. Do you see the mountain Kailash and the Lord Buddha and Jesus? I say, no, I'm not feeling anything. So I don't know. I was not much in tune at that time. But I still remember the words of the person that was the host, the speaker. And she was saying, by the time you will be here, your life will change. Huh? And that actually happened. That actually happened. So after that, I like being enrolled more into the thing and let I met Pranic Healing. And once I've understood that, and I've done the class of Pranic Healing the first time, I really said, that's it. This is what I need. This is what I have been done for. I don't know if it is that for you as well, that you are looking for that thing. Once you get it, you say, yeah, that's it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
So you can't quit anymore. I mean, that is really your switch. And you enter into a new dimension of life,
it's true.
right?
It's very true.
So it's like, yeah, I really found that the explanation about life and about the word I was looking for. I know it sounds like a big thing, but yes, of course, your understanding is like step by step. It's done through milestones, okay? Not just because you have done some pranic healing class, you understand everything. But you have this intuition that is that thing that is driving you to the right place, right? And so that was for me. And I always wanted to, I mean, I was in already, and I said, okay, I will go at the end of this path, no matter what, no matter what. Because I'm a Sagittarius, I'm like this. I might sometimes, I mean, when I was in my 20s, I was really sounded confused, not properly grounded, a dreamer, and this kind of stuff. So the Sagittarius can be like a bit of woo-woo person. But once a Sagittarius finds the way, it's like, okay, I will never leave that. So it's incredible how life has been so far.
Yeah, that is incredible. So you share that you found that thing. Could you
Mhm.
describe to our listeners what that thing is? Is that prana? Is that magic? Is that
Oh, wow.
intuition? Is that
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think is we can really talk a lot about that, I think. I feel a bit the pressure of no, I'm joking. But it's like for many people, we are living our lives with a big question. Okay, what's about this? What it is about? Why my life is this is happening, the other thing is happening. You experience your life in these many, many aspects and points of view and a few relationships, your family, work, studies, and friendships, and especially the relationship with yourself. That's another thing. And actually, it's very important. And I remember I was coming at the time since a lot of emotional challenges. I've always been like having a very good health, okay, but in terms of relationship with other humans, there was like challenging challenges left and right, and I was quite suffering about that. Well, as a kid, I've been a bit through bullyism and all this kind of stuff. Always been judged and targeted in every context I've been. So I was really questioning, I mean, how that is possible and how come I find myself in this situation. Even I like to consider myself a good person, but so I was carrying this load emotional load inside myself. And and so you're like wondering, about that, about circumstances of life. And you see other people which they are happy, that everything goes well for them, and they have a brilliant life, and you know your struggle, and then you see, okay, there might be reasons for that, of course. And well, so what is the thing that really correspond to that? And so for pranic healing, for example, when I started to learn pranic healing, I really got some explanation. The School of Master Chola is good for that because it gives you a proper understanding of what's that energy behind things. Because at
Mm.
the end, you got to know, you got to understand that everything follow the energies of the laws of energies, hmm? The laws of the universe.
Yeah, the divine
And
law.
exactly, right? So you see first that energy can work for your body, then that's okay. But the more you get uh, into the path, you understand that you are connecting to the energy which is ruling the universe. So you get to understand more about life, relationships, you know, and how the things work in this world. No? So it's really answering a lot of questions. And when you say magic, for example, you also got to understand that what's magic? Something that someone might say, okay, magic is something which is like something not controllable for sure, that happen if you're lucky, happen a few times, basically, in your life. So, it sounds a bit okay. Hmm, I wish having something like that, or maybe I wish having something more about that. So, but when you understand really that magic belongs to this energy concept, which is part of the laws of the universe, you are more in control. But not that, of course, you become the center of the world. Not that kind of control. But that understanding gives you enough for knowing how the rule of the game are. The rules of the game. So we are lucky. We might be lucky, but we can build our luck. That's the point. We can contribute to that process that then becomes magic in your life, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing which is very exciting because you don't feel like hoping for something, praying for something. Of course, I think we all pray here, but for what we want because we understand that not everything is, nothing is in our hands really, but we can cooperate. So if we cooperate, it is more possible that magic happen for you.
Yeah.
So that's something that is really interesting. It's something that we really can learn because, yes, things are not really meant to happen by case, but by chance. And we have to feed that chance so that you increase the probability that it happens for you. So it's really like a cooperation. So if you cooperate with the system, okay, you'll be a friend of the system. And so you become more harmonious. You really dance and you are like more in tune. That's what I think means being in tune. So be in line with this stream of blessings, which is really there waiting for us. You
Yeah.
know, I
It's your
guess
birthright, right?
exactly, exactly. How many of us we have heard that we are destined to success, that the world is ready to give us full many blessings and so on. But then the question becomes how I'm still struggling for things. So what do I still have to learn about that? So what we do, it's really learning to cooperate with the system. So it is about removing, then adding, to yourself.
Yeah.
It's like shaping a beautiful statue out of a block of marble. Is not more as a canvas where you keep adding things, adding colors, picturing and drawing or stuff like that. It's more like taking off, that your true essence comes out. So your authenticity at the end is there, is visible, and that becomes magnetic. And that is really what makes magic happens.
That's so lovely.
Yeah.
What a great description. I'm
Oh, thank you.
curious, um, do you remember a transformative moment in your life where you took off one of those pieces and a
Mm.
new light shined through?
Oh, wow. Many. I had many turning points in life. And of course, one of the most recent when I've been in India for the first time. We know that there is a beautiful ashram in Pune, Master Choa's ashram in Pune. And so it was 2011 when we arranged to organize the first trip to India and with a small group of friends. So we've been there, we've been into this ashram, this beautiful place, and then of course you just fall in love with that. You fall in love with being in August in a week intensive program. And after that holiday, I said, I want to come back here. Whatever, whatsoever, I have to come back. So I managed the next year in 2012 to go back by myself. And in the meantime, I was having some friendship. I mean, I had some friendship from the previous trip, and we kept in touch for that. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna come to the ashram again. It's just me. Okay, took the flight, went to Mumbai, um, and I have met my friend Prashant. So we spent some time together. Then we moved to the ashram, and and then actually, I remember during a meditation. I was already having this push like, okay, God, Master, please, just bring me to my life purpose, please. I want to know my life purpose. You know, you make that question so strong that someone up there is just looking down at you and just say, okay, we heard you, boy. Here it is. And the funny happened, the funny happening is then I met the person who became my future wife in the ashram. And her body was from India, from Kolkata. So of course, I mean, that was like a big change in my life. And that happened like a real magic and like a real turning point. And of course, after that, like many things happened. So it's quite interesting. We both been in the pranic healing world and into Ratic yoga, and but then somehow just like some challenges come in, and it's like they want to know how you're really able to handle that. And even though the story had some like not really happy, there was like a moment of crisis between us. So that brought us to uncoupling because we went back to India, sorry, from India to Italy. So we established ourselves in Italy. And then life became challenging for both of us on the reality of things. So our daily life. And that made deep fractures in ourselves. So after some years of struggle, we decided to break up. And by the way, I don't want to be that becomes so sad because now we have a beautiful relationship. So I mean, we learned a lot through that. We grew so much, and even though today we have like two separated lives, we are there for each other because she's still in Italy, and we are there to support each other when it's needed. But that was really one of the deepest and biggest life lessons about the relationship and about the meaning of love. Because, of course, when you say, oh, a marriage failed, so how can love succeed when a marriage fails? No, that is also a big question. And let me tell you, is the essence of love is not like the shape of love. They're two different things. In many cases, we have the idea that if you love someone, you have to be with the person, right? See, what's the purpose of loving someone if you're not with the person? That is the average of common thinking. But then we discovered we have done so much of work out of our crisis. It's just like we have been broke up in pieces to rebuild a new a new self and a better one. And so that gives you more understanding about the reality of things. And I think that that's only possible at a certain point, only through crisis. So crises sometimes are needed when you have to destroy your old patterns, your old thought forms. And actually, crisis, we know it's painful, but it's the quickest way to do that. Sometimes when there is the need of doing something, a work really quick, a crisis is the only way. It's a shortcut for
It
that.
brings the Shiva force in.
Exactly. The Shiva essence. And and so that was for us. And we are now much better beings than ever before. And also that understanding of a love which is caring but not possessive. That was also one of the biggest lessons that I've got. So loving with the freedom, apart from the convention or let's say the standard no outline. So you can love someone, but doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be with that person. Because if you really love, you wish the best to the person. You
Yeah,
don't are really wishing the best for yourself because it is your interest in being with the person. So we might love accepting everything, which is sometimes you're that disappointed on not getting what you want. But that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's part of the game.
I think many people when they have viewed love in our culture, I think in the United States personally, there's a lot of possessive love. And
Hmm.
what you describe is more of an unconditional love,
Hmm.
where you love someone so much that you just want them to live their best life. And
Exactly.
I think that our roots are rooted in that deep, compassionate, unconditional love.
Yeah. And you know what, Sammy? It's like if we think of the Twin Hearts meditation, right? That we have done so many times right now. We've been doing that for decades. And what's the message of the Twin Hearts meditation? To bring love, to love. It's not about asking, it's about giving. When we do Twin Hearts meditation, we don't ask, we just give. We are an instrument of love. And so that opened many gates into my engineering brain. Like, for example, um, one of those is just like loving someone that you are not meant to be with. So that's fine. And it's quite hard. But actually, if if the heart center, which is the energy center, which through we express and manifest love, it is a being of love, right?
Mhm.
So what that what does that really means? That loving becomes an inclusive thing, not exclusive thing, right? So not a conditional thing, but an unconditional thing. Is it's not like, okay, I love you only if, because we are full of many only if, right? If you're good to me, I'm good to you, but that is an if, right? No, it's like if you give me something, I give you something. So, but that is not really the true essence of love, then. I mean, that cannot be love. So, what's the whole point of this? That loving exclusively is actually one of the problems of the world, one of the problems with people. Exclusive love. And I'm just talking about the vibration of love. I'm not talking about something physical.
Yeah.
Nothing, of course. It's just like just the the acting of love have to be inclusive because the real lesson is to love as much as possible. Love your friend, love your enemy, love your partner, love your exes, you know. It's not just like wiping off from your life who's not in line with really what you want, what you need. No. It's just like I love, period. That's it. It's not my interest what comes after that. So that was really eyes opening for me. And the real lesson in my life was my divorce.
How is it a lesson?
So it was very interesting, an interesting lesson. And and yeah, basically yes, through the teachings of Master Choa, we are more we have an easier way to get to this. So when if you want to experience magic, no, basically then what's magic? What's magic is first of all the ability to allow yourself to receive that magic into your life and also to remove what is not in line with this. And at the end, what's there? Your true self, your authenticity. And when you become your authentic self, okay, I think that we call it magic
Yeah.
because everything is in line then.
So
We are in line.
you describe removing that which is not in line with it, and in describing unconditional love, you shared, you know, to be loving to all. So what is it that we're removing but still holding love for?
Hmm. Oh, so for example, in my own case, I had to deal with a lot of fears, a lot of fears about life. Because like I told you before, I'm coming as a kid. My education was very strict, and also from my parents was like quite narrow kind of love. Even though we have been through many things, my parents are so loving people, a person. They gave me whatever I needed. But also they had their own challenges when they were young. So I've been through a kind of hardship, and that created structures in my being. Because then, as we know, and Master Choa explains it, is that those structures they help you to stand because many times maybe you've been beaten up a little too much, you know. So those structures help you to stand. And basically, then what those structures are like fear, doubt, skepticism, uh, not trust in life, and all these kind of, energies, which they separate you from the outer world. Because then you're afraid that something wrong might happen. So for many years in my life, I always been thinking at the negative side of things. Like I was going into something and not having in my mind the imagine of success was more about like fearing that, okay, I might expect that that is not a success, that something wrong might happen, or some sabotage was was being done by someone, okay, at a certain point. But I was not realizing that actually I was the one sabotaging myself because of all of these factors. And so basically, I had to done a massive inner work to remove these things and to realize and build a proper self-esteem and to know my self-worth. So basically, that's what I mean when I say, yeah, magic happens really for everyone. Just allow to pass through. So remove what's not there, what's not useful for that, and which is doubt, fear, something that, oh, why should I deserve that? Why should I be happy? That kind of thing. But actually, yes, we are born to be happy. We are born to manifest abundance and all the beautiful thing that life is able to give, and we are the instrument for that. So that's where I've been involved a lot in that work. Like, yes, removing all those energies, all those kind of heavy luggage that is actually not needed at a certain point. Yeah. And they help you that so far, but after a certain point you can really say, okay, thank you so much. But now I can walk with my own legs. So right now I can do myself and I can really show my authentic self. So, and I can trust that the light that I'm bringing is is actually inspiring people. And after that, what? You become a magnet for blessings, because you give yourself the chance that the light of the soul is more manifest.
Yeah. So wonderfully said, I do have to say. I'm curious, after you had that turning point in your life, what changed for you after doing your own inner work?
Yeah.
And how did it really impact where you are today?
So I think that gave me the possibility to be where I am exactly right now. So being a professional pranic healer today is that result, because I realized today that I gave myself the opportunity to do that properly. It was something that actually I wanted to do since at least 15 years, 15 years I wanted to build my own reality and being a professional pranic healer. But I see now I wasn't ready about that. And I see when I look back, you join all the dots, you know. And you see, of course, now I understand why I was not being allowed yet to get there and why I can do this now. Then when you see your life, where your life has brought you, when you see how you face your challenges and you see like every every burden that you've been carrying, now you just have dismissed. Now you're ready to show yourself, and then you're ready to manifest your reality, which is more the reality of the soul and how your soul can impact your lives and other people's lives. So after doing that, basically, I find myself getting that chance to become a professional pranic healer. And if you want to know how really that happened in real terms, I mean, in the real world, is like basically after I've spent 1 year of my life in Venice, a beautiful place, of course, to live. And I have beautiful memories. And it was 2023 when I definitely I said, no, I want to quit corporates. I was, working in my engineering profession into the car company, into industry. I said, okay, no, this is not really for me. I was not really fitting in there. And I said, okay, enough. I want to really to manifest a big, big change. And then this opportunity came to me to move to Venice for doing a completely different job, managing a small company in tourism and events. And I said, okay, yes. I mean, everything was like apparently was super, like good pay and a beautiful an apartment in front of the sea and in this beautiful frame of like the most beautiful city of the world. And I mean, like, okay, that's a dream. please wake me up. And then I moved there. So without thinking even too much about it. And I started to live that experience and discovering that it was not as good actually. Was not as I thought. And then after just really few months, I said, no, this doesn't work for me neither. So, but then I've been taking a really big decision. I moved out of my birthplace and I've been here, like betting on this new adventure of my life. Um, so just to make the long story short, that worked for me. That experience just like finished, and I was now in front of a decision. Like, okay, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna look for another job, or maybe now I can consider to do that. And that was it. I just said, okay, first of all, let me see how much buffer I have. So how much money is there to live so that I don't feel the pressure for reacting to those mechanisms of fear, like need. Okay, let me find a job because otherwise, how can I live? How can I earn money? How at that? I'm gonna do that? So that is also interesting because all those kind of thoughts are structures which are not really needed. We can also spend so much time thinking just about that. How our thoughts, which are energies, influence our choices. Like that money can only come through a job, money you need to earn through effort, fatigue, and hardship. No, no, actually, it's not like that. It's not like that. Also, money belongs to that component of that magic that when you have found your right way, you don't need really to worry about that because it will come with much less effort than you think. And so I take the decision to build up my project. And then I say, okay, first of all, what have I done the most? Just like healings. I've been doing like almost 20 years of healings, you know? So I say, okay, that is a good beginning. So I can start with that. Um, and then I started to think, okay, but second point, who am I? You know, who am I? So, I mean, yes, I'm Fabio, that's okay. Uh, but Fabio doing healings might, like healings almost for free, might work in a certain frame. But then if you want to make it more professional and given a specific frame, it doesn't have to be something else or something more. And then I started to think of, okay, what can be the name of my reality? What can be the identity of it? And of course, I wanted to honor the teacher because I was doing basically something which was not belonging to me. We received, like we all have done, received teachings that you want to spread or apply those teachings. So first of all, I wanted to give credit to the teacher. So something which is a name was in line of what I was doing. And that in my mind came pranic consciousness. So whatever that could have been, I told myself, it has to recall that if you're conscious about prana, you become conscious about yourself, about people, about life, about the universe, and about magic.
Yeah.
And that became my brand. And of course, the other point was, okay, how can I bring it into the world? And that also was another thought in my head, going on in my head since many, many years. And being a pranic healer, I always said, yes, pranic healing is good, but that has to become uh, a tool which is recognized by associations, institutions, by the world of business, by the world of healthcare. I mean, what's the point of talking to people one by one like you're a door-to-door seller. I mean, what's the point? It is too much of effort. And which kind of audience are you targeting? We might put pranic healing into those fields of the society, into those areas of the society where it can really work at best,
Yeah.
which they are formally organized in a proper shape. So we need to adjust the message of pranic healing to that context so that becomes more compatible with that. And then where I start to bring the message through pranic consciousness, for example, into the medical world. And today, I'm collaborating with medical doctors, for general practitioners, for specialists, gynecologists, psychologists, and associations. And I mean, that is actually the range that I think we all need to operate. We need to break through that part of the world, which is the least covered so far, by Pranic Healer. And so I said, okay, I think I've found my mission, at least for now, and that's what I'm doing through pranic consciousness, is really to show how integrated pranic healing can really be into this game. How can really be professional, speak a business language, be understood by the world of business, but a word which actually most of people refers to because that is our basin, as our audience. Because if you want to make pranic healing more accessible, is there where we have to bring it. We don't have to be on the other side, like be in opposition. Because we speak about healing, about being well, but also, for example, the medical words speak about the same. So what's the point of being on the two sides, on the two edges of the river? What's missing in between? It's missing a bridge.
Mhm.
And we have the chance to build to build that bridge.
Yeah.
And we have this kind of responsibility. So, and this opens up to tons of opportunities where actually the future of pranic healing can be or can become.
And what do you envision in the future?
In the future, you mean about for myself or in general about this work or whatsoever?
For pranic healing, and you can
Okay.
intertwine it with your own vision too.
Yeah. I think the future speaks of integration. Hmm? We've been cultivating pranic healing as individual practice, as a small group practice, but thinking of spirituality only, right? Because that mainly is the part of the teachings of Master Choa, which are spiritual teachings, but maybe we kind of ignore the true potential and the true effect that pranic healing can have into this world, not the real impact. That I guess is not the problem with pranic healing, and of course that was already seen by Master Choa, but I think that the limit is more in our vision, in our perception. I think we really need to reconsider and to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the true meaning of pranic healing as an integrated tool, not as a tool which is apart, which is independent, which speaks its own language, which cannot really match with all the other way of communications and so on. No, we need really to allow to make pranic healing to be serving for the real needs.
Yeah.
And that is an effort. That I think is our job now. is what we have to do. So we need to find all the possible ways to integrate pranic healing into professions, into the world, into healthcare systems, and whatsoever. Because actually, if you think about it, pranic healing can really become an integrated tool for everything, everything, because it speaks of the human being.
It can even be integrated into family and lives and like you've
Of
shared
course,
relationships.
of course, it can do a lot of relationship healing, harmonizes your lives. It can really help you to have a better life, of course.
Mhm.
And that can also be brought into business context and to other organized frameworks. So if we focus on that, I think the future is going to be a lot about um, group work, group consciousness, and how we have to carry the message forward as groups and less as scattered individuals.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, scattered individuals are weak. They have limitations. We all have limited power if we just consider us against all the rest. But if we create groups that work for this purpose, I think that is going to be our call.
Yeah. And we can rise up together.
Exactly. And the good is already what you're doing, Sami. I mean, we are doing here talking about that. My buddy's in Italy, he's in California, and we are speaking about that already. And
Yeah.
for example, through the APHA, you're also speaking about that. And we are all already into that. If you notice, there are so many movements in the US, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe. So something is already moving, and that is already strong. And we have so many opportunities ahead. But of course, we have to do it. We have to do our job, right? Things will not be done by themselves. So it's beautiful that we are doing this right now and that we are using everything that the current society has available, like technology, like a podcast, like the proper use of AI, for example. I do use massively AI for my projects and my work. And of course, if you give the proper guidance, you can get an amazing result from the AI who do your work. So, I mean, we have no excuses today for not doing what we have to.
Yeah.
It's much easier now than ever. And if you see also around the world how the things are going, I mean, this is the best time. This is the best opportunity to give a proper push to whatever is happening on the other side. So that's the real thing, I think. That we really need to become a unique entity and to break every barrier of separation and thinking that we are all alone, that I'm a single pranic healer. Of course, if I think of that, how can I change this world? What can I do in the world? I mean, pretty nothing because I feel lost already. But with you, with other tens or hundreds of people, we can do much more, of course, and we are thousands of pranic healers and erratic yogi in the world.
Yeah. And
So
it's a whole lifestyle.
exactly, exactly. So first of all, for example, we can become professional pranic healers more than we think. We can do that, for example. And that is one of the missions I have through pranic consciousness, to build up the program which is actually called the Pranic Integration Program, that can really show and I share my experience from the field on how really this thing can work and can succeed because it actually does. So many of us, we are like having the same idea of, okay, oh my God, I have my nice job and I have my earnings, my security, and so on. So I don't think Pranic Healing can give me that. you know? But no, this is just in our mind because we have all the chances to build that. But it's not about security, but is about putting in place the thing in the right way. And you should not even worry about the consequences because money will just come. Because that is just an answer of what we are, is a return of what you're given to the world. And if you've done that properly, that's how money works. Just money follows at the end. So it's really possible. It is really possible. And actually, the world needs more professional pranic healers that can give a strong message. That doesn't mean that we have to be all professional pranic healers. No, of course. I mean, professions are good. We need jobs. We need people doing things. I mean, that's perfectly fine. But definitely compared to the actual dimension of pranic healing, there's much more can be done, and we can give a proper impact, and that is possible.
Yeah.
That is now.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh,
It's
thank you,
very,
Sammy.
very inspirational, even for myself. I'd like to ask, do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom for our listeners today?
Um,
Maybe
I'd like to.
your personal.
Yes, definitely from my personal perspective. Like I said before, I I came out from my own darkness. I mean, of course, it's still a work in progress because the work is a long journey. But no matter how lost we feel, no matter how hopeless we feel, if we are pranic healers, we have all the means to make it. And for people who are not pranic healers, just remember everything is inside you already. Everything you got it. Everything you got it. Just be courageous enough to be willing to apply for that thing that will allow you to remove all these blockages, that you can really show up in your full bright. So your authentic self is there waiting for you. Just go and meet him or meet her. Just go because your authentic self struggles to meet you. So, and that can be done.
Yeah.
You can do it through pranic healing, through prayer, whatsoever. That's fine. That's perfect. Find your own way. But there's a way. There are chances. I mean, the success is there waiting for you. But you have to be willing to do it, to do the job. Success cannot force you if you don't want to be found. So you have to go for it. And also your authentic self is just there waiting. So just go for it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sammy. Oh,
It's been such a pleasure chatting with you and hearing all these inspiring stories. Thank you so much for just gracing us with your presence today. I usually do a meditation at the end of each podcast. I'm curious if you would be interested in doing a self
of course.
forgiveness
Yeah, let's do
for
it.
our listeners to lead us into our next state of being, maybe jumping off that next cliff or turning
Exactly.
the next page in our lives.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So, for those of you who are driving and listening, pause this and do not do this practice. You can come back and do this later when you're in a more concentrated place. For those of you listening in a safe space, I ask you to sit up, move your back so you're not leaning against anything, and just sit up straight. You can close your eyes or bring your eyes to a soft gaze. And just bring your awareness to the surface of your body, and then to your breath. And just recognize if you're holding your breath And start bringing your breath deeper into your belly. Taking longer, slower breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And as you get into this rhythm, bring your awareness back to the surface of your body. And just recognize what's changed. And for this moment, we'll silently invite in those teachers that we believe in, your higher self, the universal supreme being. Just invoke to that which you believe in. Asking them to join us for this practice, to guide us. I want you to picture yourself in front of you. It can be now, it can be a past self, whatever comes to you now. Now smile and send love to this version of self. And if your arms and legs are crossed, I ask you to uncross your arms and legs. And just picture the self with love, appreciating all that they are, all that they have been, all that they will be. And say to this self, I recognize the oneness in you. I recognize that we are both learning, growing, and evolving. That process involves time and lots of mistakes. I've made my fair share of mistakes, and so have you. And guess what? We can learn from them. I've learned from many, and I continue to learn. So can you. Smile, feel that peace, feel that grace, that compassion and love for yourself. And imagine you both in a pink bubble of light, sparkling with gold. Look into your eyes. I forgive you for any hurt or pain that you caused me at any point in my life. I humbly ask for your forgiveness for any hurt or pain that I've caused you. And I forgive myself. I let go of any pain, any sorrow, any attachment. I release you. Go in peace. Go in peace. Go in peace apart from me. May God's peace and blessings be with me. May God's peace and blessings be with you. May we both be filled with light, love, and power, and divine alignment with our true being. And give thanks. Amen. Tatastu. And slowly begin to open your eyes with a big, big smile. Let it
Wow.
out.
Thank you, Sammy. Wonderful.
uh, Thank you all so much for listening today. Thank you, Fabio, for
Thank you so much.
gracing
Thank you.
us with your presence. And as always, it's been such a pleasure and such a true gift to have you on Blissfully Lit.
Well, thank you so much for your invitation and for giving me the chance to share.
And to all you beautiful beings listening, thank you and namaste.
You all namaste, everyone. Bye.
Bye.